Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spirit Wisdom Wednesday. So, this week, Spirit wants to really be direct. If you're watching this at the time that it's released, we just had a full moon in Aries. And I don't know about y'all, but that always brings a head on, go get them, let's take care of business kind of attitude into my life. So I got a very clear message that today's reading was supposed to be about what you need to face. And Spirit picked out these beautiful flowers to celebrate kind of the end of the season. These are flowers that I've had on my porch all season, and this is probably going to be the last time I will get to see them. So these are the piles that we have to choose from, and I feel like we're just going to go right into it instead of doing a breathing exercise. So let's go. Group number 1, you have this sweet alyssum. Group number 2, you have this beautiful lantana. And group number 3 has these adorable snapdragons. It's kind of like a sunset color. All right, so if you need a moment with these groups to tap into the energy and see which pile is calling to you, please feel free to pause here. Otherwise, I will see you at the top of your reading. All right, for those of you who chose group number 1 with the sweet alyssum, let's go ahead and get your messages about what you need to face right now, and we'll get plenty of advice about how to do that. So you're not just going to be on your own figuring that out. And if you see this little kitty nose over here, that's Sweet Pea. She's very interested in the flowers. So maybe a cat spirit animal is very significant for you at this time. I feel like we're really becoming curious about what's next for you. So we have stone people knowing. Okay. So I feel that we're taking a look at what you're perceiving as set in stone. So maybe some type of routine or system of belief that feels immovable, immalleable. It feels like we are really going to help you get unstuck and kind of expand your perception about something. So let's go ahead and get a couple of these, I think they're called magical spell cards, to kind of expand on what areas and what subjects that this might cover for group number 1. You might even be an earth sign, sun, moon, or rising. So what areas of life? I feel like that wanted to split in 2 different places, so we will actually take both of those. First out, we have for you glamour, number 15. And we also have love, number 1. You know what? I was getting an image of Medusa while I was shuffling. So I wonder if maybe an experience you've had in the past with love has kind of set your expectations around not only just like romantic love, but interpersonal relationships in general. And I just feel like it's kind of hardened you. And I know it feels like it's out of necessity, or at least that's what I'm hearing. But Spirit is asking you to take a look at this. It just feels like something is coming to soften your heart, or something's coming to connect with your heart in general. And if the heart is hardened or closed off, love may not be able to get in. And your spirit guides are lovingly stepping forth to support you in releasing some of these. It almost feels like walls or barricades have been put up really as self-protection. But it's almost like, and this could be a pattern in your family history as well. because there's many faces in this card. So you might have started to become a bit jaded and think that, or perceive that these disappointing cycles are around a lot. But with glamour, I wonder if it's almost become a little bit superficial. And what I mean by that is you might have a tendency to make a snap judgment about someone. Oh, that person's not going to work, or that person's probably a narcissist, or that person's probably psychically draining me. There's something going on here. And it's blocking love. And it's blocking love. Let's see what lesson we're working on here. I'm telling you guys, this Aries energy is not for the faint of heart. It's very direct. But Aries gets things done. So, you know, I hope you've been hanging in there through the full moon. Oh, okay. So we have empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. Yeah, I feel like you have a beautiful heart, but I feel like you've really hardened it over time. It's like there's such a strong, it's not just like a desire, but a necessity to never allow or to never repeat this cycle that's happened before in romance, or never allow something that has been done to you be done to you again. So an example of this would be being with someone who's narcissistic and abusive, or someone who leaves you, someone who cheats on you, someone who you discover is very unwell and was not honest with you. And yeah, it just feels like a lot of people who've chosen this group have been in pretty sticky situations before. And I'm getting a classic kind of empath narcissist perception. But I feel like what's being brought to light here is kind of like it's a dangerous thing to subscribe to that too hard, because it's almost like you can paint with such a broad brush that everyone winds up being an empath or everyone winds up being a narcissist. So I wonder if there's something in love coming for you, group number one, because they're like, we need to work on this and kind of break this down a little bit so that when their person shows up, they're actually able to connect with them for the highest good of all. Okay, let's get your tarot. We're going to move into how this might actually manifest, and then get some advice for you too moving forward. Group number one. Group number one. Yeah, I'm getting this image of a heart turning to stone and then forming this armor around the body. You're like, nope, not again. Nope, not this time. Nope. Okay, group one. All right, we have for you temperance. The sun. Oh my gosh. Wow. That blew me away. I'm sure you could tell. The Chariot. Oh my gosh, these are all major arcana. Wow. And the Knight of Swords. There you are. Okay. So I wonder if it's feeling to me. I will just be bold and kind of say this. I try to be a little tactful, but I'm going to use this, I'm going to channel this Aries energy to really just say it, you know? So here we are over here. On the far right with the Knight of Swords, this could be air sign energy, but there is kind of a tendency with this character to rush in, to rush in. And it feels in the past like you have found yourself with an unsuitable partner and you felt like, man, I wish I would have really slowed down and thought about this more or communicated more. The Knight of Swords is all about fast action and forward thinking too. So it could be that the idea of someone or maybe what they promised you kind of became your perceived reality of the relationship. And it just feels like you've been really hard on yourself about this experience. You're like, no, I'm never going to let that happen again. I do not want to rush into love in any way. So maybe you've been single for quite a long time. Sweet pea. Sweetie, come on. Yeah. That might be a message for you too, that it's okay to just reach out when you need to. It's okay to be curious, and to know what you want and actually reach for it. And that means love too. So it could have been that you've been denying yourself any type of romantic experience until you quote unquote figure this out. So you feel like a very intellectual person to me. I will throw that out there as well. So let's take a look at this powerhouse energy we have here. So with temperance, we're kind of evening things out. This does seem like kind of, it's almost like you've given yourself an ultimatum. It's like, well, I'm an empath and I guess all I do is attract a narcissist, or I can't pick the right person. So I guess we're just not going to do relationships for a while until I figure this out. And Spirit's like, no, let's really temper the way you're looking at things. Things are not always as they appear, and I feel like you know that, but it's almost like I'm just hearing this self-talk like I don't even want to bother. I can't even be bothered to go through this again. But group number 1, look what's in store for you. I mean, this is like victory, rebirth, joy, ultimate happiness, fulfillment, manifestation. I mean, this is one of the best cards in the entire deck. And it came out in what you need to face. I mean, I don't know if this could be better, honestly. And then with the sun here, which is victory, it's coupled with the Chariot, which is another fast-moving card. This is so interesting to me. And then stone feels like it would move so slowly. Yeah, so I feel like you slowed everything down in this section of your life. You've either completely stonewalled it, like we're not doing love for now, or like I said before, you're like, we're going to need to take some time and go back to the drawing board and make sure I can heal and figure this out before I do this again. Because there's this, I'm going to get a clarification card over here with these fast moving energies over love for you. I wonder if you've never really experienced a slow build to love. It feels like it's all swift, fast moving energy. But I feel like I hear you saying, I don't want that. So let's get a clarification card. All right, Spirit, why is the Chariot and the Knight of Swords here? Why is the Chariot and the Knight of Swords in this reading? Oh, and we have the Hierophant. Okay, this is Taurus energy. All right, let me see here. So the Hierophant can point towards advice or counsel or some type of structure. I'm going to need another clarification card. This is really, I feel like I'm starting to feel your energy a bit too, where it's just like, I can't figure this out. I'm like, okay, Hierophant, what else? Oh, the King of Wands. Okay. We have the King of Wands and the Hierophant. Interesting. So it feels like the King of Wands is either who you want to be or who you would like to call in. So, compared to this Knight of Swords, which is an air sign energy, can be kind of hasty. The King of Wands is a master of his suit. This would be like a Leo card, Sagittarius or Aries. Leo really comes to mind for me right now. This is someone who's a leader, very warm, full of life, very passionate, someone who just naturally leads others. And very, very romantic, very spiritual too. And so's the Hierophant. So I wonder if spirituality is a big deal here. I think so. And I just heard gaining momentum. So it could be that if you're thinking about seeking advice about this, I feel like this is a go here with the Hierophant. And the Chariot underneath can also imply that there's like a fork in the road or a decision coming up. Do I open up or do I close? Do I stay grounded in my ways or do I change? And this fork in the road could be motivated by some type of structure. So that could be government. You could be reaching a certain age where you have to make a financial type of decision, something like that. Or even some type of anniversary at work where benefits are changing or something like that. That's coming through for a couple of you. But it's like, there's this big change coming up and it's like, how am I envisioning this working out? So you could be getting close to like retirement or something, or switching to completely working at home, some really big shift. And I just heard let love in. Okay, so how can group number 1 face this, Spirit? So we have the issue, kind of broken it down. I'd love to offer some advice for group number 1 with opening their heart to love again. I love that you have the Sun. I hope that's like your biggest takeaway, is like really only good things could come from this. It's like it's almost like hardened ice and now it's melting. Oh. All right, we've got quite a bit of advice for you. Right. And so we have faith in your dreams, waxing crescent moon. Yeah, it could be that you're a very romantic person yourself and you really have dreamed of being with your soulmate. And Spirit's saying, please remember that dream. We're not done yet. I just heard that. We are not done yet. We also have bring love into the situation, obviously. Aquarius can mean Aquarius can bring the energy of friendship into the equation. So please don't forget about your love for yourself and your friends. Friends could actually be helpful in connecting you with other people. So that's a good piece of parting advice. Balance spirituality and practicality. That's great over here with temperance. So we're just kind of doubling down on that message there. The end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that sense here with the Chariot and the Hierophant. It's like this big structure is kind of pushing you to a fork in the road or a new chapter in your life. And it's going to kind of be like a rebirth moment for you. Some big goal. For some of you, I'm really getting retirement. Big time. And then lastly, we have don't let pride get in your way. Yeah, I mean, trust me, I know that like getting back out there and dating after being single for a long time is tough. It is. And I feel like Spirit's not implying that it's super easy, but remember that we have the sun under here. And so basically, they're saying this is really going to be worth your time, group number one, and you really deserve it. This is going to bring on a huge heart healing for you. Okay. You have such a beautiful, I'm hearing heart of gold underneath that stone. And Spirit would love to help kind of chisel away that stone and reveal that heart once more. All right, so those were your messages. If you chose group number one with the sweet alyssum, that's what we're facing. And your advice around that issue, I hope that was helpful. Please let me know how it resonated in the comments below. And I will see you next time. Take care. Bye. For those of you who chose group number two with this lantana sprig, let's go ahead and get your messages about what it is that you need to face right now. I kind of warned group number one that this Aries energy is very like blunt, so please keep that in mind. But we are definitely going to get lots of advice for you. So I'm not just gonna like blow it up, point something out, and then go, good luck. You know, we're gonna actually get some advice about what to do about this practically. So for you, we have to start feathers restoration. All right. I'm hearing new direction. I'm definitely getting a sense of travel or relocation for this group. Yeah, I feel like you might be planning a little trip, or you might even be moving house. So let's go ahead and get a couple of these magical spell cards to kind of clarify what areas of your life this restoration energy is going to be showing up. I am also getting the energy of angels with this group, so that might be significant for you. And I just heard 1, 2, 3, so we will definitely get 3 of these cards for you. That's one. Oh, and that was another one. Okay. So let's take a look, group number 2. First, we have justice. Strength. Oh, I don't know if I've ever seen this card. Okay. I'm actually going to shuffle these around just a teeny bit. And then we also have harmony. This is another card that does not usually come out. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the energy of newness around this group. So if you are moving, if you are traveling to a place you've either never been before or you're totally unfamiliar with it, this is a huge confirmation that this is the pile for you. You chose wisely. So justice, strength, harmony. So for some of you, this could be relocation for a new job. Wow, I feel like a lot of people picked this group. Interesting. So I'm getting a job, some kind of contract over here with strength. I feel like for some of you, you're taking a trip to do something you love, like to pursue something you're passionate about. Maybe you're going to take a special class or do a retreat for yourself. And then for another group of you, it feels like there's a new direction that has to do with reunion. So maybe bringing family or friends together again after a long time. You could be actually planning a reunion or some type of holiday. And you could have taken charge for that for the first time this year. Wow, this is so broad. Okay, we're going to need more clarification. Let's go ahead and hit the tarot. So for group number 2, what is this about, Spirit? I mean, even if a lot of people picked this group, I would like to get more specific than this. So what is this restoration about, this new direction? What do we have for group number 2? Oh, okay, we'll take those. So we have the Seven of Swords. That's a spicy card to start with. The Eight of Coins. The Four of Wands. And let's get one more. Okay. And lastly, we have the Page of Cups. There you are. What a sweetie. You're such a sweetie, group number 2. I definitely heard that. You're very good to people who are around you. So that message earlier about getting people together, planning some kind of event, I'm definitely seeing that over here with the Four of Wands combined with the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is just a very, very loving soul who's kind of surrounded by synchronicity, who really is an optimist and shares love freely with those around you. So this personality, you would be great at planning some kind of event like a shower, a reunion, some kind of party with the Four of Wands here. This is definitely a vibe for sure of you shining your light. You might even be offering somebody something, some type of token of appreciation. So maybe you got a gift for somebody and you're thinking about, how do I offer this to them in a way that's very meaningful? I'm also getting a visual of handcrafting a gift. So maybe you're like knitting or sewing something, painting, something very creative going on over here with this portion of you. Okay, and then it's almost like there's 2 subgroups now. So thank you, Spirit, for narrowing that down from 3 to 2. Appreciate it. So for the second half of you who chose this pile, we have quite an interesting dynamic here. So here you are, very hard worker, okay? You're plugging away, you're putting in the hours, you're doing it, you're grinding, you're doing it by yourself. All right, this is someone who's perfecting a craft. This particular deck has a painful imagery on here, so I'm not going to just like pretend like that imagery is not happening. So I feel like you're just about at the end of your rope, okay? Kind of suffering silently, making this happen. And you are dealing with this over here with the Seven of Swords. So let's talk about this, all right? I mean, obviously this doesn't look like the best situation. I feel that you are suspecting this is going on. And this could be anything from, I feel like somebody is taking advantage of me, like I signed a bad contract and I want out of it. So maybe you took a job and now you're in it and you're like, oh my God, can I relocate? How can I get out of this? And you're finding the strength within you to really assess this and balance a good decision. So for some of you, that could be one of these scenarios. It could also be dishonesty by omission, so you feel like someone's not telling you the whole truth, essentially. And I feel like you're doing something about this. Okay. So for one portion of you, I'm definitely feeling like what you're facing is the truth. The truth. And then another portion of you has a totally different message over here with like reunion and family and bringing people together. So let's get lessons cards out here because this is a very interesting group. It could be that both of those messages resonate for you. Okay, let's see. What lessons? Okay. I love when they do that. They're like, oh, there you go. Okay, so first we have adversity. And we're just going to take that upright. All right, let's not waste any time here. I do not take reversals in that deck. And then we have perseverance. Perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Okay, so for some of you over here with this Page of Cups and Four of Wands harmony corner, you could be planning something quite large, or you're planning ahead for something that's kind of in the future. And I feel like, for example, if you're planning a trip and you're not quite sure of the timing of all of it, or you're not sure how the funding is going to work out, or if we're going to be able to do XYZ, Spirit's saying just hang on a little bit longer. This plan is so worth it, and it's going to work out and be beautiful. I'm hearing even better than you're thinking. If you are planning a big trip that's in the future, it could be that, and the Page of Cups is surrounded by this like magical synchronous energy. It could be that the city that you go to, you don't realize until you get there, is having some adorable festival, and you get to celebrate this really special thing that you just happen to be there at the perfect time, you know. And they're bringing to mind, in middle school, my class went to Washington, D.C. That's like such an American thing, you know? And we happened to be there the day that the cherry blossom trees bloomed. And if you're familiar with that situation, that's usually pretty difficult to predict. And this was a pretty long time ago. So, yeah, I feel like something really special will wind up happening to you there. That's really beautiful. Okay, so we're restoring hope for this section of you. For the other section, the people who are powering through a tough situation with work, feeling like things aren't fair, you're going through a lot of adversity, and Spirit just wants to straight up acknowledge that. Okay, sometimes that's like a way that they can be helpful, is saying, yeah, this sucks and it's shitty. And, you know, we're not going to positive wash everything and pretend like this is easy peasy, you know, like it's not. um, and you're really going through it, and your guides are like, I hear you, I see you, and I'm here for you as well. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. Yeah, but I feel like you're so over it, you know? Like, look at you. I just feel like you're over it. You're clutching this pentacle so hard. You're all broken out on your poor feet and hands. And you have this weirdness going on over here. So this could be like a manager of yours or something who's projecting an image that's not consistent with what's actually going on. They're like misdirecting. It just feels like they're playing some kind of game. And I don't feel like they are trying to screw you over. I just feel like you're kind of on your own. You know what I mean? So it could be that they are just doing their own little song and dance, making up their own reality about whatever. But it's not making anything easier for you. And I really feel like you're considering your options at this point, and that's fair. And I feel like Spirit's like, let's face this and have a real conversation about what's next for you. Okay, I didn't do this for group number 1, but we are going to get Shaman cards for you. This is from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. Okay, so let's start with the left, with the adversity. My group number 2's in adversity. What advice do you have for them in this situation? Thank you for acknowledging, whoa, what they're going through. That's way too many, but thank you. Let's try again. That's too many. Thank you for acknowledging what they're going through. Please, any advice that you could offer for their highest good. Okay. And we have for you the Holy Mountain, number 25. Okay. I'm hearing The Climb. You know that song? And let's go ahead and get our perseverance advice out here as well. We have the Journey. These are kind of similar messages, honestly. For some of you out here, you're definitely traveling, or you might even be planning an event in a different place, like a different geological location for yourself than where you are right now. So with the journey over here, it feels like Spirit is reminding you that even though this planning can be stressful, and you're super good at it, and I know that you care a lot about it, but please don't forget how enjoyable it is to even just plan and talk about it. You know what I mean? Like if you're planning some big trip, like it's really a gift to even consider that it's possible to go on a trip like that. And I know that might sound like kind of precious and sweet, but you know, you're such a sweet soul. I feel like you'll kind of get that. And Spirit's like, let's figure out how we can enjoy every single aspect of it. Even like watching videos on YouTube and watching how other people decorated for this party or where they ate in France. You know what I mean? Like, and really imagining yourself in those scenarios is really going to make the journey so enjoyable for yourself. And then over here with my adversity group number 2s with the holy mountain, I feel like you're in the middle of a climb. And while that can be extremely grueling and difficult, you're really putting your nose to the grindstone, you're really getting it done. You're going to get to the top of this mountain and have a totally different perspective on your whole life that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And then look at you sitting up there. So I feel like pushing through a little bit longer, you're going to get some peace at the other end of this. A mountain for me can also mean stand your ground. So if you were like really thinking about dipping out immediately, I feel like Spirit's like saying for some of you who that really resonates and that's like dead on, just a little bit longer, okay? Just hang in there a little bit longer. Okay, so that's what we are facing for those of you who chose group number 2 with the lantana flower over here. I hope that was helpful or resonated. And please let me know what you think in the comments below. Comments and engagement are really how I get an energy exchange, a feel for how it landed with you, and just know that I care so much about that. So if you don't mind interacting just a little bit, it would really mean a lot to me. But I'm sending you tons of love and light. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye. And for those of you who chose group number 3 with the little snapdragons, oh, here are your messages for what we need to face. Okay, so let's see what we have out for you first. 4-legged endurance. Ooh, okay. So we have a physical group here. I'm definitely getting some type of physical transformation. You could be really honing in your nutrition, your physical movement. Also getting lots of animal messengers here. So there could be either a lot of animal messengers that show up for you all the time and you're noticing that and you're like, what's that about? Or there's a really important animal in your life right now, a little fur baby, or any type of baby. Animal baby is what I mean. I'm sorry, my cat Sweet Pea is just like chowing down on these flowers over here. And I'm not quite sure what is poisonous and what is not. So I feel like that's another message for you, group number 3, is you might be taking a look at your nutrition, maybe like dairy intake or certain types of meats. It's like you're figuring out, okay, what makes me feel inflamed? What is like hurting my belly? What's not? Can I take a probiotic for this? Should I not? It just feels like you're really working all of that out. So let's go ahead and get some clarification. I mean, I think that's pretty straightforward that it would be about the physical body, but let's see if something else comes out in combination with 4-legged and endurance. for group number 3, Spirit. Oh, okay. I feel like there's 2 here for you. So 2 we shall get. Yeah, I feel like you are, this is the most decisive group I think I have channeled yet. And it feels like that's kind of a new outlook for you, decisiveness. And I'm hearing it looks good on you. All right. So we have for you courage. Okay. Some new cards out of this deck are coming through in this reading. It's funny. Sometimes the same ones will come out for a while because, you know, sometimes we get universal messages in these. I love to see new cards. Okay, we have courage and we have best possible decision. I mean, if that's not a favorable card, what is? Oh my gosh, and you have 1718. Wow. So this is a huge message for group number 3 that you are absolutely exactly where you need to be. Everything that you've done up until now has been correct. You are coming to the situation correct. And whatever is in store for you next, your next move, you are going to be making the best possible decision. So for this group, I feel like what we're facing is either a next step or a choice. And that would make sense with endurance. It's like you're coming to the end of a cycle and you're like, I need to make a good decision for myself. I know I need to muster up my courage to do this. I want to make sure I make a good decision. So what lesson is being worked out here? Very interesting group. I love it. What lesson is being worked out for group number 3? Okay. We have for you honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. I was just saying this to myself the other day. Yeah, I feel like maybe there's someone around you. Oh, there was another group that had a similar message. It was just group number 2, wasn't it? I feel like maybe there's someone who's not offering the best version of themselves to you. And a more direct way to say that is someone's not like making great choices or being either honest with you or with themselves. So that could manifest as like total avoidance of things that they know they need to do. You might be waiting on somebody's action to get something done, another signature, whatever. But it just feels like you know that, and you're having to like endure a longer or more complicated process because this other party is not like showing up 100%. So I hope that's making sense. But I feel like your honesty is enough. So if that was a question, if that was a question, I feel like your honesty is enough to save the situation. Okay, whether this is like a contract or whatever. Yeah, I'm hearing that things will progress no matter what this other party does or how long they take, or it feels like if somebody drops the ball, someone else will pick it up because you have 17, 18. I mean, you have progression here. Courage, best possible decision. Wow. Okay, let's get more information about this situation for group number 3. Okay, so it sounds like they're coming up against a choice they have to make soon, dealing with issues of honesty. In it for the long haul, I just heard. So this has been a long process, or it's starting a long process for you. So it could be that like you've seen a red flag, like you've started a process, whether it's like selling or buying a house, or even like a new career path or something. maybe even a relationship. It doesn't really feel like that in this group. This does not feel like a love group, but that's just an example. And it feels like you've seen a red flag. And you're like, uh-oh, should I keep going? Should I switch to something else? Should I move on? How much should I endure? That's what we're being honest about today. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, love that. Crystal clear. All right, so for group number 3, what's this about? What dynamic is going on for them? What are we facing? Oh, that one wanted to come out. We will let it. Okay. So first out we had the 8 of Cups. Yeah. Having the courage to move on. Strength. Having the strength to move on. You might be a Leo, or you might be dealing with a Leo, or like that time period, August-ish, might be significant for you, because courage makes me feel like, think of a lion, and then we also have strength. We have the 7 of Cups, 7, 8. There's another synchronicity there, implying some type of direct progress. And then we have the 10 of Cups, over best possible decision. Oh my gosh, group number 3. Whatever is on your mind, first of all, is going to be more than fine, okay? This couldn't be a more positive outlook for you. So please just know that. Please just like claim that, okay? Wow. So immediately, kind of what I'm seeing over here in the future position is that you might have a lot of choices on the table, and it's kind of like, I want to make sure that I choose the right thing, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know what to expect. I've never done this before. But whatever you choose, I mean, excuse me, will be the best possible decision. Okay. It'll be like a dream come true kind of situation. Very emotionally fulfilling. Wow. Huge culmination over here. And then on the flip side, I feel like this is more where you're at, where you've immediately come from, which is kind of leaving behind something that was no longer serving emotionally and reclaiming your strength. Oh my gosh, these are 2 8s. So the number 8, and I think I said August earlier, could be significant for you. Okay. Wow, lots of synchronicities in this reading. I feel like you're someone who really follows your intuition and is not afraid to go out on your own and kind of like blaze your own trail. And I'm hearing that the universe loves that about you. They love your courage. Yeah, I just feel like, especially with endurance up here, I feel like this is something you've been looking at for a long time. This is like a really big cycle. And it's kind of culminating in one last decision. And I feel like a lot of this, what we're facing, is the really long journey you've been on. And how well you've done. I just feel like you are honest and courageous no matter what. Even when the people around you can't meet you there, you still give that. You still offer that. It's like who you are. I just don't think you could do anything else. Even if you were upset, even if you were pissed off, I just don't think you would play games, you know? But I'm sorry you've dealt with that feeling. I know that that feels bad. You might even be like a fire sign or Sagittarius, because that, I really identify with that too. That just drives me, it just like cuts deep, you know? It's just unbelievable to me when someone's dishonest. It's just really hard for me to let go of, and I feel like you might be similar. Okay, I would like some more information about kind of what themes are going on. We're going to start moving into advice because it just feels like this is such a big cycle that the messages feel very broad. I would like to kind of hone and refine them a bit, Spirit. So could we get a little bit more specific for group number 3 and what they are dealing with? I know it's a long journey. I know it's going to turn out amazing, outstanding, 10 stars. I know they've dealt with dishonesty. I know that they are honest. They're courageous. They've left something behind for their highest good. We offer more detail, please. Oh, okay. So these just shot across the table, and I was intending for 2 to come out. We will take these. We have Wild Woman. Yeah, so again, I feel like you're unafraid to go out on your own. That might very well be what you have done. And then we have many paths, number 34. So what a beautiful confirmation, pretty much of the 7 of Cups, and 3 plus 4 is 7. Yet another synchronicity here. I just feel like you have a lot of options. And with this 4-legged and endurance card at the top, I feel like this is in the physical world. So I feel like you're either very well off financially, you have many options as far as where to live, or you have many options as far as partners go. And if they haven't showed up yet, I feel like they're going to be on the way, and there might be a couple that show up at the same time and might even make things a little bit confusing. But just trust yourself that you will make the best possible decision. That's unavoidable, I'm hearing. Because you're so honest. You're so honest with other people and with yourself. I feel like you're one of those people. Wow, if we're not really great friends, I would love to be great friends with you because I feel like you just kind of blurt things out sometimes, and I totally do that. I really wonder if you might have Sagittarius in your chart. Because we tend to do that. We tend to just kind of like tell the truth. And you know, it can kind of blow things up a little bit, but I kind of don't mind that sometimes. It's one of those like somebody's got to say it kind of situations, and we're usually the ones who say it. Anyway, here you are with Wild Woman over here. I love this for you. Don't have to be physically feminine to embody this energy of the Wild Woman. This is definitely someone who goes off on their own, who is courageous and strong and unafraid to leave situations behind that are weighing heavy on her heart. It's very, very faint, but we are getting some heart imagery over here, and then some almost like an upside down heart shape over here. So I feel like you've really reinvented yourself in the past. I just feel like you're super brave. Yeah, and I feel like you're just bringing this new version of yourself with you this time. So it could be that you have started over a couple times in your life. And this could have to do with moving many times, being in many different relationships, and leaving, always leaving the person, always leaving your home, moving from your home, leaving jobs, leaving that behind. It feels, yeah, okay, that's the pattern that we're really being honest about. That's what we're facing. All right. It's almost like Spirit is like, you have so much. Okay, this is so clear. I hope those of you who chose this message really stuck around because this took a minute to really channel. You have so much immediate strength and courage that like making a decision and lighting it up and, you know, taking the job or doing the interview, asking someone on a date, moving house, you are able to jump on a decision strongly. And not many people are brave enough to do that. And I feel like you've done that a lot in your life. So it feels like Spirit's really talking about developing this immediate strength or like short-term strength, like those bursts of incredible courage, into long-term endurance. because something more permanent is coming into your life. Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. And I feel like you're the type of person who's moved around so many times that you're not really attached to that idea. Um, I mean, I'm sure it would feel nice for it to be here, right? But you might have let go of that a long time ago. Like, oh, maybe I won't have a super long term partner for decades. But whatever it is that's on your mind, maybe even like owning a home, having a lucrative career where you stay for decades, or having an incredible, really long term partner, like lifelong partner, that's coming to you. All right. The 10 of Cups is one step beyond wish fulfillment. So, out of those three examples that I just gave, whatever's working there, it could be a combination of them. They're coming to you. We just need to build up the endurance to stay. Okay, you've got to stay in one place for long enough for this to happen. I feel like that's what we're being really real about here in this reading, what we need to face. And there's many ways that this could happen. That's just the reality of how this physical realm is. So, one piece of advice I'm getting already is stay in one place long enough for something to develop. You're so dynamic, you're so fiery, you're so similar to me. I hope that we're friends already if we aren't. And if we aren't, let's be friends. Because I've definitely exhibited some of these behaviors as well. So let's just get a couple of parting pieces of advice for you, dear soul. I'm so excited for you. This feels really different for you. I feel like people who know you probably thought, oh, they'll never settle down. They're always doing something new and exciting or interesting, or yeah. And I feel like something's really going to be locked down in a way that's really beautiful. And it could be a lot of this movement, flightiness, whatever you want to call it, could just be based in not feeling like you can trust people. You know, it really can be as simple as that. Okay, let's get your advice. And I feel like that card back there wants to come out. We have for you, hold your vision, fixed moon, right? What did we just say? Please stay in one spot long enough for something to develop. All right. I know, because we're similar. It's easy to make a snap judgment and then just go full tilt 100%. All right. We really need to stay fixed in one position for long enough and endure that. I know that that does not feel comfortable for your energy type, believe me, but that is the recommendation for now. And then we also have for you a win-win outcome is forecast full moon in Libra. Full moon or Libra is all about relationships. So I really feel like for some of you who are looking for love, that is definitely coming for you in a huge, huge, huge way. So those were your messages for those of you who chose group number 2 with the Snapdragon flower over here. Thank you so much for watching and sharing your energy with me. Please let me know if that resonated in the comments below. It really does matter to me how these messages land for you and if they are helpful. So I really appreciate the engagement, but I'm sending you tons of love and I will see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye.